The name Citroën may not sound very exciting to you, but the French car manufacturer has meant a lot to today's automotive industry, and it's probably way more exciting than you might think. Today, we'll take a deeper look into the history and pioneering thrive of the Citroën brand. The French automobile brand Citroën has been founded over 100 years ago in 1919 by Andre Citroën. However, Citroën wasn't Andre's first company. He actually had an arms factory before, but decided to transform it into a cars factory because World War I came to an end. Citroën, as of today, is known for making compact and innovative cars that are focused on delivering value and comfort for a middle-class price. Producing vehicles that were unusual and innovative for the time is something Citroën's history is filled with. Some examples of these vehicles are the Traction Avant, the Citroën DS, and the 2CV. All three of these cars have their very own unique features. For example, the Traction Avant, which is French for front-wheel drive, debuted in 1934 as the very first mass-produced car to feature, you guessed it, front-wheel drive. As of today, many cars are front-wheel drive. The Citroën from '34 has played a very significant role in this process. In addition to being the first front-wheel drive mass-produced car, the Traction Avant was also one of the first cars to feature a unibody construction. The unibody, maybe more familiar as monocoque, made the cars lighter compared to body-on-frame designed cars, which meant that the car had a better fuel efficiency in handling. Monocoque is a term frequently used in racing. For example, all Formula One cars are equipped with a so-called monocoque, which in this case serves as a survival cell. The incredibly strong but light cell keeps the F1 drivers safe in case of a clash or collision. In road cars, the unibody structure also obtains a higher score on crash safety evaluation ratings, not only because they are more rigid since the designs are composed of only one unit, but they also add a crush zone into the program. However, the crash rating wasn't really relevant for the Traction Avant, since the crash test wasn't created until 35 years after the first production model rolled off the production line. The main reason Citroën went for a unibody was to save weight and thus improve its performance. With this design, Citroën was able to save over 150 pounds of steel per car, an amazing achievement. The car brand Citroën, which had fallen into the hands of the tire brand Michelin after the death of Andre Citroën, had to come up with the successor to the Traction Avant. They now had to come up with a car which was able to compete with other popular post-war economy cars like the Volkswagen Beetle. The VW Beetle later on became the most popular car manufactured off a single platform of all time, with 21.5 million first-generated cars sold. However, it wasn't long until Citroën answered VW with the all-new Citroën 2CV, an air-cooled, front-engine, front-wheel drive economy family car, introduced at the 1948 Prix Mondial de l'Automobile. The 2CV had been in production from 1948 to 1990, with in total over 3.8 million cars sold. But what made this small family car so special? It began with an unusual assignment for the engineers at Citroën. Nowadays, car engineers are handed the task of designing a car that's affordable, uniform around the world, economical, good-looking, and so forth. The engineers of the 2CV were actually given 3 tasks. They had to design a car that they could sell to French farmers, and because of the car, it had to be able to drive over a bumpy field. The farmers had to be able to fit inside with a sun hat. And when a basket of eggs was transported in the car, not one of them was allowed to break. This meant that the car had to be created with a high roofline and a very soft suspension, which the engineers did really well. One feature of the 2CV that was not something to get too excited about was the engine. The first production version happened to be a 375cc twin-cylinder engine that produced a whopping 9 horsepower. Yeah, you heard it right, 9 roaring horses. However, it was enough for the car to reach a top speed of 40 miles per hour. Nobody actually seemed to mind that the 2CV was lacking power. The car did exactly the job it was designed for, and that was more than fine for the 2CV drivers. The little car wasn't exactly a technological masterpiece, but it was a car developed from a very practical idea. And that is precisely what made it unique. But then, suddenly the Citroën DS was presented at the 1955 Paris Motor Show, and it struck like a bomb. People were stunned by the innovative futuristic design of the DS. Nobody had ever seen anything like it before. The designer of the DS, Flaminio Bertoni, wanted something aerodynamic and functional. The end result was a perfect marriage between a work of art, aerodynamics, and road presence. It was quite possibly the most daring car of its day, and few cars have managed to come close since. Thanks to its unique looks, it was an instant hit. With the first 45 minutes of the reveal, Citroën had 750 orders for the DS. By the end of the day, 12,000 orders were placed. Well, this is not an uncommon thing today. For example, with the Tesla Cybertruck, in the 1950s, it was unheard of. In 20 years of production, nearly 3 million units were built, split in half almost perfectly between France and the rest of the world. It really demonstrates the enormity of the impact that the DS had on the car world when it debuted. But surely there had to be more than just the stunning design of the DS that made it such a huge success for Citroën. Well, more in this case is an understatement. Unlike the previously released 2CV, the DS was a super luxurious car, equipped with various technological features way ahead of its time. One of the features being the incredible suspension system developed for the car. Pretty much all cars of the 50s used conventional coil springs, but the DS used something different. Instead of springs, they were spheres filled with nitrogen gas that were suspended in hydraulic fluid. This system actually proved to be that good that Citroën used it right up until a few years ago. The principle of this suspension wasn't very hard actually. It works based on physics principle that almost everybody knows. That which tells us that gas is compressible and fluid basically isn't. Therefore, the compression of gas acts like a spring, while the hydraulic fluid acts as a damper. Citroën also cleverly used a pump to make the car self-leveling, while offering variable ride height, assisted jacking to change the tire, and zero roll by simply pushing more hydraulic fluid into the suspension at a specific corner of the car. The ride height of the DS could be changed anywhere between 9 and 28 centimeters. The hydropneumatic suspension raised the bar when speaking about ride comfort. Even to this day, it's hard for car manufacturers to make their suspension and riding comfort as good as Citroën did. Besides revolutionizing the car suspension forever, the DS was also the first of its kind when it came to disc brakes. It was the first production car in the world to use disc brakes on all four corners. Back in 1955, this was totally revolutionary, and it signaled the arrival of a time when every car would use disc brakes. Sure, there were cars with disc brakes that came before the DS, but this was the first mass-produced production car to actually make them work. The DS also featured an inboard braking system, and the system itself used the same hydraulics as the suspension. Like so many other aspects of the DS, another revolutionary feature were the cornering lights. They could be very useful in certain situations going around bends. A piece of the headlight assembly would literally turn along with the steering wheel to help illuminate corners better. The list of amazing features of the DS just keeps going. The first mass-market applications of crumple zones for extra safety, a semi-automatic transmission controlled through a switch instead of a clutch pedal, and many, many other features. Even though the DS was a luxury car, it also enjoyed quite a bit of success in rally racing. The DS, specifically modified to participate in rally races, won the Monte Carlo Rally twice, as well as being one of the only 5 cars that finished the London Sahara Munich World Cup. And it even won that cup as well! During a rally race, a DS lost one of its wheels once, but that didn't hinder its progress thanks to the amazing suspension. If that wasn't enough DS amazement for you, it even saved the life of French President Charles de Gaulle back in 1962. There was an assassination attempt on de Gaulle when the motorcade was ambushed and all 4 tires of the DS got shot. The amazing part of the story is that the DS didn't save de Gaulle's life because it was armored. It's because even though all 4 tires were shot, the car could still keep going and escape from the ambush. The former president stated afterwards that he wouldn't have wanted to be in any other car at the time. Did your opinion about the French car brand Citroën change hearing their amazing achievements and developments? I would love to hear in the comments. If you'd enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing and checking out the other videos on my channel. You'll probably like those as well. Thanks for watching.